Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today we're exploring the luminous legacy of Egypt's Crystal Mountain. We're going to take a fascinating journey straight into the heart of the Egyptian Western Desert to uncover what is, frankly, one of the most stunning, mind-bending geological anomalies on the planet. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to picture it. You're completely surrounded by endless, dry, golden desert sands. It's arid, it's incredibly harsh, and yet, suddenly, the ground beneath your feet just starts to sparkle. It looks exactly like thousands of pieces of shattered, shiny glass have been deliberately scattered all across the dunes. It's this massive visual paradox. I mean, how did pieces of shiny glass end up scattered across a golden desert? Well, to understand the how, we first really need to pinpoint the where.
So we're looking at a very specific spot, tucked right between the Farafra and Bahariya oases, which is in Egypt's New Valley Governorate. Now, if you're an adventure seeker or a big photography enthusiast, you might actually know this area, because this exact spot sits right along the famous White Desert Road. That means this isn't just some remote, totally inaccessible phenomenon, you know? It's actually a breathtaking pit stop on what's already one of Egypt's most visually stunning desert routes. But hey, before you pack your bags expecting to scale a towering summit, we do need to clear up a little geographical misconception about its name.
Because the name Crystal Mountain? It's actually a bit of a trick. I mean, when we hear the word mountain, our brains immediately go to, snow-capped, towering peaks, touching the clouds. But Crystal Mountain totally subverts those expectations. We aren't looking at a high, intimidating peak at all. Instead, it's really more of a relatively low-lying rocky ridge. But honestly, what it lacks in altitude, it more than makes up for in just pure accessible treasure. It's this highly localized, concentrated area where the Earth just kind of opens up to reveal these incredibly shiny formations right there at eye level. So you're probably wondering, what exactly are these formations made of?
Now, what's really interesting about this is the hard geological science behind the magic. Because we aren't actually looking at diamonds or quartz or even actual glass here. We're looking at calcite. Calcite is a carbonate mineral, and under the absolute right conditions, it forms these spectacular, shiny, highly reflective crystal structures. It's actually the exact same family of minerals that make up limestone and marble, but here, it's crystallized into something completely translucent and gem-like, literally bursting right out of the desert rocks. But crystals don't just appear out of nowhere, right? They require a very specific recipe. And ironically enough, the main ingredient is something you absolutely won't find in this desert today.
Yeah, the great paradox of this incredibly dry desert feature is that it was actually created by ancient water. Millions of years ago, this landscape was radically different. We're talking immense amounts of water impacting the local limestone and chalk deposits. And as that water moved, it dissolved minerals and seeped deep down into the subterranean rocky cracks. Then, over millions of years of geological heating, cooling, and just immense pressure, those trapped minerals slowly reprecipitated. They recrystallized into the shiny calcite we see today. So this bone-dry desert we see right now, it was once a highly active, watery laboratory.
And let me tell you, the visual payoff of that millions of years long, completely invisible process is just breathtaking. When you stand there today, the harsh, unforgiving desert sunlight hits these exposed calcite crystals, and the entire ridge practically glows. Because the calcite has been so perfectly recrystallized, it acts like a giant natural prism. The stones capture the sun's rays and bounce them right back, creating this absolutely dazzling light show. It's not just a rock, It's a full-blown optical phenomenon born from ancient oceans, now just baking under the Egyptian sun. But beyond just being gorgeous to look at, this sparkling ridge is also incredibly valuable to science.
Because beyond its beauty, this site really builds a much larger picture of our planet's history. For geoscientists, Crystal Mountain is basically an open book. First off, it represents this flawless natural record of ancient environments. It's physical proof that this sandy desert was once heavily shaped by water. Second, it gives researchers a super rare, easily accessible place to study exactly how geological formations and mineral deposits develop over deep, deep time. And finally, it serves as an entirely open-air model for understanding those relentless natural forces that shape the Earth's surface. It is, quite literally, a living laboratory completely exposed to the elements.
So, Crystal Mountain holds this really fascinating dual identity. On one hand, you've got this massive tourist appeal. It's an absolute dream for photography, a major anchor for desert adventure, and really just a place to admire the beautiful natural diversity of our world. But then, right alongside that, you have its scientific appeal. While tourists are out there snapping photos, geologists are using the exact same site to understand ancient environments and study complex mineral deposition. It perfectly balances being this breathtaking stop for nature lovers and a totally crucial laboratory for researchers. However, all of this accessibility does come with a pretty severe downside.
Because as awe-inspiring as this site is, it's also a deeply fragile treasure, and it's currently under severe threat. You see, the very things that make Crystal Mountain so appealing, its accessibility, its proximity to the road, the fact that these sparkling crystals are sitting right there on the ground, those are the exact same things putting it in danger. I mean, think about it. It has survived millions of years of extreme geological pressure, but right now it is really struggling to survive modern human interaction.
So the crucial point here is that human impacts are causing irreversible damage to this rare natural formation as we speak. And the two main threats? They are heartbreakingly preventable. First, visitors are physically breaking off, collecting, and removing these rare crystals as little souvenirs. But every single piece taken is literally a piece of millions of years of history stolen. Second, we've got cars and off-road vehicles driving straight through these incredibly fragile natural areas, just completely crushing the delicate crystal structures under their heavy tires. And if this continues, well, the mountain will simply cease to exist.
There's actually a brilliant way to look at this, a quote from the source material that really hit the nail on the head. Crystal Mountain is not just a tourist site, it's an open geological museum. I want you to really think about that metaphor for a second. If you walked into a regular museum in a city, you wouldn't dream of taking a hammer to a statue, right? Or driving your car over an ancient artifact. No way. We really need to actively reframe how we view this location. Just because it doesn't have a roof or a ticket booth doesn't mean it deserves any less respect. It is a museum curated by nature itself. Ultimately, the biggest takeaway here is that Crystal Mountain isn't just pretty to look at, it's a vital key to revealing the unique natural history and diversity of the Western Desert. It stands as this glittering testament to the unparalleled natural beauty and the incredibly complex geological timeline of Egypt's landscapes. It proves once and for all that the desert isn't just some empty space. It's a dynamic, evolving canvas that holds the deep secrets of ancient Earth beautifully preserved right there in crystal.
Which leaves us with this final, absolutely vital question. How can we better protect these fragile, wall-less museums for future generations? It's something we all need to reflect on, whether we're ecotourists, researchers, or simply people who just love learning about our planet's hidden wonders. How do we balance our deep desire to explore these incredible natural anomalies with the absolute necessity of preserving them? I'm going to leave you to ponder that one. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the desert, and I really hope this explainer has sparked your curiosity to learn even more about the incredible world around us.